Hey, my friends, I wanted to have a little talk about the A word, anxiety. I'm seeing so many comments on my videos for anxiety about people who suffer from it and hate it and wish it would go away. And I get it. It's not comfortable. But why don't we take a different approach? Why don't we just consider another way of looking at it, because it's not helpful if your anxiety is causing you anxiety and you start feeling anxious because you think you're going to feel anxious. Now we just have a snowball effect and our bodies are not super happy with that scenario. First of all, there's good anxiety, a wedding to plan or a performance, something like that where you're excited about it, excited about a project at work. That's great. And even though it has the same physiological mechanism in our bodies as what you might call bad anxiety, it goes away after the event's gone. You don't have that anxiety with you all through. But the bad anxiety, we carry with us. We don't know how to let those go. And it lodges good and hard in our bodies and our tissues. So we need to figure that out, and we need to take maybe a different approach to how we look at it. You could even use the anxiety you feel to learn a little bit about yourself as a person. For example, if you're having anxiety over a test that's coming up in school, what does that say? It says you care about your education. It says you want to do well. It probably helps you work hard. That's a good spin on it. And it's true. I'm not just, creating Pollyanna positivity. This is true. And let's see, you're having anxiety over maybe giving a presentation at work. Well, your job means something to you. You want it to go well. You want to be able to influence people, educate people. These are wonderful character traits. We just need to learn how to let the anxiety go when we don't need it. Long ago, caveman days, we needed anxiety to run out of the way of a saber-toothed tiger that was chasing us or anything like that to survive. We don't have those problems now, thank goodness. But we have anxiety maybe momentarily because you have to jump out of the way of a speeding bike, or because you trip and fall down, or just catch yourself. Those sorts of things, you need that sort of impulse reaction, right? But then we have to let it go. And it's the emotional stuff that's the hardest. No one enjoys having anxiety. It's not like fun, but most of us grapple with it. I think a lot of the commenters thought they were the only one until they read the other comments on my videos and saw, oh my goodness, I'm not alone. You are so not alone. In fact, anxiety is the new norm. If you were calm and peaceful all the time, you would probably be alone. Or you'd be one of the very few. So we all have it actually daily to some degree. We might be frustrated with our anxiety, or even ashamed of it. And for some, it can be debilitating. I know that. So we do what any reasonable person would do when they don't want something. They try to push it away. But here's the thing, okay? The more you resist your anxiety, the worse it gets. The more you resist your anxiety, the worse it gets. It will only grow. It sounds counterintuitive, but it's important to accept your anxiety as a natural part of you and as a mechanism that is meant to keep you safe. It keeps you alive. It's kept humans alive all this time, so we need it. It's a survival mechanism. You might even show gratitude for your anxiety. Just, consider it. Consider showing gratitude for it while acknowledging that, other than, helping you jump out of the way of a speeding car or rush your sick child to the doctor, that chronic state of fight, flight, or flee is not serving you. It's not serving you. When trying to develop new habits in place of old, less helpful ones, it's important to treat yourself with kindness and compassion. There will always be stressors. It's just a given. There will always be stressors in our lives. There'll always be stuff that goes wrong. But we have the power to train our brains to cope with anxiety in a healthier way. So we can't control what happens, but we can control our response in a way that makes anxiety less taxing on our minds and our bodies. Neuroplasticity, you might have heard that, it means that our brains reorganize connections and they change shape based on the information they're sent. How cool is that? And it doesn't matter how old you are or where you are in life, your brain will always respond to the signals it gets. And if it keeps getting the same signals over and over, it shapes around that. It builds synapses around that. You know, think of when you learn a skill like playing the piano. You don't start off playing Beethoven. You practice your scales over and over, feeding your brain as you learn. And your brain will continue to grow and rewire, forming the synaptic connections it needs to allow you to eventually play effortlessly. I was not as patient with my piano playing. I only wanted to play Beethoven. I didn't want to do scales, and guess what? I didn't learn how to play very well. That's what happens. But similarly, we can train our brains to be able to handle anxiety with more ease. That's not to say that anxiety will ever feel relaxing or fun, but we'll eventually be better equipped to deal with whatever life throws our way. We do this by first pausing. Just stop, just pause, just take a space. Recognize that you are having anxiety. Simply by being mindful of the way you're feeling creates a little space between you and your anxiety. Imagine a large movie screen in front of you and watch yourself on the screen having anxiety. I know, that might sound silly, but go with me here. You are now witnessing your experience, which means that you can't be the experience. And you're not the experience. You are the witness. You're the one who's aware of having the experience. It's a seat back. It's a step back into our seat of awareness. And just that alone, that separation, allows us to take a moment, take a few calming breaths, and you no longer have that emotional reaction. You're not in that fight or flight mode, right? You're not automatically reacting to it. You've taken a space, you've taken a pause, and now you have access to your thinking brain. Yeah, you can utilize executive function to make a mindful and deliberate choice about what to do next. Even more, you can check in with yourself and ask, what is it that I need in this moment? What do I need? Yeah, no, that's not an easy practice. I know. It sounds simple, but it's not easy. Like learning to play the piano, it takes a lot of patience and repetition. It might begin with you noticing that you were very anxious only after the fact, that something happened and you reacted with anxiety, right? That's okay. That's great. That's a step in the right direction. You're noticing it. Over time, you'll learn to be mindful while having anxiety. This is what I'm feeling in my body right now. And you might eventually become mindful at the early signs of anxiety and lessen its impact, responding rather than reacting, right? And that will make new synapses, new neural pathways, and it'll get easier and easier the more you practice. There are several tools you can use to self-regulate when you notice you're having anxiety. It's good to begin with sensing the whole space you're in. Focus on the room or what's around you outside, wherever you are. Then put your awareness into the soles of your feet. That's right. Just put all of your attention into the soles of your feet. Notice how they feel against the ground. And get grounded. Begin to breathe in through your nose and exhale out slowly through your mouth as if you're blowing through a straw. And you want to breathe deeply into the belly, some good diaphragmatic breathing. If you don't know what I mean by that, check out my videos on breathing techniques. Breathe into the belly through the nose, out through pursed lips. Slow, long exhale, letting all the air go. Do that for about 4 breath cycles and check in again. How do you feel? How do you feel? Do you notice a difference? Just by looking around, focusing on your feet and the ground against them, and taking a few deep, cleansing breaths. Changing your brain takes time, patience, and persistence, but it will be well worth it when you're able to diminish the negative effects anxiety can have on our physical, mental, and emotional health and well-being. Allow yourself to be motivated by the positive changes you feel in your mood, in your outlook, and even in your relationships. Try this out. Let me know how it goes. There are tons more techniques, but basically it's grounding, it's centering, and it's getting the physiology to calm down, the stress hormones to chill out, and to get into that parasympathetic rest and digest state so we can make choices that will benefit us and others. Let me know how you feel about it. Let me know how it goes in the comments. Subscribe to the channel. Ask more questions. Let me know what to show you. I'm happy to take suggestions for videos. And I will see you in the next one.